and welcome to Blueprint Radio, a guide to fitness, health, and wealth, brought to you by Mass Mutual Miami, where your financial health is our number one priority. Today, we are here once again at the scrumptious Tamarina Brickell. I am Karen Garcia, one of your hosts, joined by Dr. Scott Kjelson. Hello. Good morning, good day. And celebrity fitness enthusiast, Tony Thomas.
How you doing?
And our goal for this show is very simple. It's to be able to enlighten, show, educate, and hopefully entertain our listeners and viewers on how fitness, health, and wealth can improve your overall quality of life.
Absolutely. Now, today's theme is growth, all right? What does that mean, growth? In the fitness world, it's all about knowing yourself, knowing your body. You're your own person. You wake up to yourself every day. You should know yourself. Secondly, I want you to focus on recognizing consistencies that other people have had success with throughout the years. And third, knowing how diet and exercise can coexist in harmony. Yes, harmony, guys. We got to make sure that they coexist in harmony. So you had a friend that lost a lot of weight, and they said, hey, I've been on this diet. I didn't need to hit the gym. You're like, what? You didn't hit the gym? You didn't do anything in the weight room at all? No, I just was on this diet, knocked it out, boom. They look at you and you're like, hey, you didn't know abs are created in the kitchen? And then you're just like, okay, I'm going to go on that same program. I'm going to do the same thing. Right. And what happens? You lose the weight. 4 weeks later, you gain it all back in tenfold. And you're like, what happened? I'm going to tell you what happened. It's a yo-yo effect. Exercise doesn't allow yo-yo effect. Diet without exercise does allow yo-yo effect, right? So you're going to, in essence, lose muscle. Okay. And you're going to be losing weight at the same time. All right, if you do both. And you can retain the muscle if you learn how to incorporate diet and exercise together. So what do? We want you to eat less and move more. Very simple. Eat less, move more. That's going to allow you to hold onto that muscle while you lose the weight, and you will not rebound. Okay, so what does that mean? Eat less, move more. You want to burn more calories than you put in. So if you go ahead and have a meal, 400 calories, you want to get into that weight room and burn 600 calories. That's going to allow for a 200 caloric deficit. Over the course of time, you're going to lose weight. And what do you want to do? You want to stay accustomed to going to the gym, building up your tolerance and continuing to focus on that main goal. All right. Of course, it sounds easy, and everything isn't easy. Everything has a challenge. That's what we're in here for. We like challenges. We want challenges. So what's the challenge? Of course, you start taking in less calories and working more. You're going to get cravings. Cravings happen and occur. Dr. Kjelson would agree.
I would.
If you're going to have cravings, you want to put the right quality foods in your body. It'll do less damage.
Not chocolate chip cookies?
No, not chocolate chip cookies. Put the right foods in your body. Dr. Kjelson, I know you know a few that they can probably do.
I was having a burning just to speak about everything you were saying, and it is true. You know, when you said put less and work out more and so forth like that, it's really about putting more of the right stuff, but less overall in sense of quantity. And I totally agree with what you're saying. I think that eating right starts from even within the placenta, even during pregnancy, and a lot of women hear about the pregnancy pills and prenatal vitamins and so forth like that. It's also about the foods, and it starts right there. So we talk about epigenetics all the time in my practice, and epigenetics is your environmental factors, including your foods, that actually turn on and off genes and show activity. So when you're talking about kids now, you see a lot with focus deficiencies and so forth like that. In a sense of growth starts right there. We really need to go down to the basics, the cellular level, and really speak about what's the important factors going inside the body. When we talk about focus again, attention deficits, we're always putting on a pill first.
Right. ADD, everybody just diagnoses and gives a pill.
Right, because we see symptoms, right? Again, we go back to symptoms, and then we treat those symptoms.
Right.
We put duct tape over our check engine light. So it's really like, let's just forget about it and let's give a pill. No, there's not just a pill for everything. And then we go even into your athletes, and I think that's an important factor. When you talk about athletes, we just had a conversation with these athletes yesterday, actually. Right. They talk about, we need to gain weight. So what do? Just consume. But what you're consuming matters. Your growth and how you grow is important. I really feel that the proper growth is important. It's easy to gain weight, right? We all know that.
Yeah.
Maybe not for that 1%, but it's easy to gain weight. But how do you feel while you're gaining that weight? I can tell you, I don't eat breads. That's a preference that we talked about this. Mm-hmm. But when I do, I feel bloated. I feel, out of it. Right. And I feel heavy. So when you take that same concept and working even further, we started at children and babies even. Now we even go to your elderly community. Growth continues. Even though we think about growth, we think about elderly, the function is lost and so forth like that. What you eat in order to maintain, right? So breaking down of bones, mood disorders. We're talking about falls. We go back to what we talked about last week. Eating correctly is so important for your proper maintenance and growth. Wow, so I think it's so valuable, and I know we were speaking yesterday as well about how important it is in growth in your own financials. So
absolutely, and again, we're speaking to something that is near and dear to my heart. So you guys remember in the last couple of weeks, I've been mentioning my PSG model, right? Protection, savings. Well, today we're talking about growth. That's the G. And so we laid the foundation by protecting our assets, right? Our ability to earn money, our existing assets, our home from a fire, our car, etc. That's protection. We did the savings, which is, hey, that nest egg for retirement, or that little, hey, there's an opportunity to buy an investment property. That's that cash, that liquid asset. But now we're talking growth. And in order to be able to talk growth, we say, okay, what exactly is in there? Well, it could be owning bonds. Actually, there you become a lender is what you're doing. Or you can own some stocks. Now you're an owner. It can be real estate, investment, income properties. It can also be things such as your own businesses, your tax shelters. And so how do you decide what's right for you? Well, sometimes it could be one of the things. Somebody might say, I just want to buy real estate. Or it could be a combination of things. I'm a business owner, but I also want to get a little bit into stocks and bonds. And how do you determine what's right for you? The first thing you want to do is assess your risk tolerance. People sometimes are so confused as to what they think their risk tolerance is. So the best way you can assess it is by taking a risk tolerance questionnaire. I usually advise you to sit down with a financial professional, anyone that is a qualified financial professional. They'll take you through certain questions that will be able to give us the right feedback to tell us, literally, are you as aggressive as you think you are, or as conservative as you think you are? So I'll give you a quick example of a question that I would ask someone on a risk tolerance questionnaire. So I'll ask you, Tony. So here it is. From an original investment, follow me here, okay? From an original investment of $15,000, your portfolio, now worth $25,000, suddenly declines by 15%, which is about $3,750. Which best describes your response? A, I would look for a way to invest more. B, I would take no action. C, I would be somewhat concerned. D, I would avoid any investment that could suddenly lose 15% of its value.
I would avoid any investment.
See, there you go.
As soon as I think about the loss, I'm like worried I'll pull out.
And it's very telling, because the truth is that's not going to give us his overall risk tolerance, but it already starts giving me an indication. So maybe in conversation, having a cup of coffee with friends, you might say, well, yeah, I play the market, but deep inside, he's not somebody I'm going to put heavily into the market based on just that one question. Again, there is no answer for everyone. This is just an example. So let me give you an example of once you determine whether you are aggressive, moderately aggressive, conservative, what exactly does that mean? And what that means is you need to look at your portfolio allocation. And what does that mean? What percentages? Your portfolio is 100%, whether it's $10 or it's $10 million, 100%, right? So you want to figure out how much should be allocated to things that are riskier and things that are less risky. So as someone who's conservative, most likely their portfolio is going to contain more in the way of bonds, surefire things. Just to give you an example, maybe someone who's conservative might have 35% allocated to tax bonds, whereas the person who's more aggressive might have 5%, and then you might see some stocks in emerging markets. That would give me an indication that that person is more aggressive. So go ahead.
I like what you were saying with that, though, the conservative side, because I'm pretty much on the conservative side.
Okay.
And I
so you know
probably
your
would,
stuff. Yeah.
As far as the types of things I would do. But as far as the stocks, aren't there some conservative stuff that you can also invest in?
Absolutely. I mean, stocks, again, they're always tied to the market.
Mm-hmm.
So as conservative as you think they are, you want to ask yourself, am I willing to lose it?
Okay.
Because you can lose it. Now, of course, within the stock world, something in emerging markets, for example, is very different from a blue chip stock like an IBM.
Okay.
So you want to always keep that in mind. But the big question is, am I willing to lose it? Because you can. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is my growth section for today. And
These growth sections were brought to you by Genomic, improving your quality of life through personalized testing.
And now we are here with the one and only Jason Buchema. He's the founder and chief excitement officer of Wet Travel. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I want to jump right into a lot of things. I mean, you're all over the place, nonstop on my feed for sure. But you really have a huge following. I just want to talk about, first of all, how you started where you are, or how you got to where you're at today, and then also get into the charity aspect, because I think that's huge.
Sure. So how I started Wet Travel is I had been on about 10 cruises before, and I was always bored going on cruises because it's all families and older people and the music and the nightlife. Wasn't to my liking, put it nicely. So I had this dream, and I was with my brother and my family, and I was looking over the pool deck, and I was like, man, it would be so much fun if I had all my friends here and really good music. So I put together a business plan to take over a cruise ship and to do it in 5 years. So I put together the group cruise. The first year is 125 people, and so I would try to charter a ship. And what that means is to take over the entire ship for 3 to 4 days and have 2,000 to 3,000 people on that cruise that are all into the same style of music. So I did it in 7 years. So it took me a lot longer than I thought, and now we have 7 cruises. We rock with Shipwrecked. We book big acts like Godsmack and Korn and Five Finger Death Punch. We have a heavy metal cruise called Motorboat with Motorhead, Slayer, Anthrax. We've got Aventure Dance Cruise, which is a Latin cruise with like Jerry Rivera. Last year we had Chino Inacho and Tito El Bambino. And we have a Zen cruise, which is like a yoga wellness concept. We have Inception at Sea, which is the first spring break cruise. And they're those fully immersive, very unique cruise experiences, because I believe a cruise ship is the most amazing venue for a party or experience you could ever create.
That's awesome. Yeah. So just organizing something like that and just strategizing. How do you go step to step? I'm just looking at how you implement a plan to get those different niches, different musics, different quality of people. You go from the heavy metal to the Zen. What is the one-on-one step-to-step on how you strategize?
Definitely. So we'll have partners in those cruises. So for example, like the Zen cruise, we have my partners are Lisa and Val, and they're very ingrained and they do events in the yoga and wellness space. So they do the marketing and talent booking. We oversee it, and then we do the cruise line side of it. We handle the reservations, the travel, and negotiate with the cruise lines. Same thing with our rock cruise. So we're not ingrained in the heavy metal community, for example. So my partner, he used to manage bands, so he does all the talent booking and marketing, and we do the cruise line side of it. So that's what we look for. We look to partner with people that already do big, huge concerts or festivals on land, and then take those concepts and do them on the ship.
So you almost you stay in your lane, you stay in your lane, they stay in their lane, and they work together and make something beautiful. That's a good thing.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, it really creates an experience that's unlike anything in the world. When you got 2,500 people that are all into electronic dance music, for example, that are all into the DJs and all into trance and techno and house music, and for 4 days, and you go to Jamaica, and everybody's in the same lifestyle, I guess you could say.
Right.
The same loves and the same passions. And what makes it unique than a land festival is you've got a smaller amount of people, so only 2,500 people, and you really get to know people and build relationships. And that's one of the very unique things. And now, waking up every day in a new island and new beach parties and pool parties and theme parties and all that stuff. And it's something that they never forget forever.
Right. And so how did you come up with the concept of calling your cruise goers captains? I mean, 2,500 captains, really?
Absolutely.
I love it. I want to be a captain of your
If you
ship.
come on one of our cruises,
I'm a
you will
captain?
be the captain.
Oh,
You come, you will be the captain.
Okay.
And we take that
I'm going
very
to share my
seriously.
captainship.
Thomas. I like that ring.
Seriously, it's
So-
because of that? I mean, that's the concept behind it?
Yeah,
For the captain?
we want everyone to feel like they're the captain. You know, that they're the most important person in the world. And from the time they call us or email us, you know, to after the words or before, and we really listen to our captains about, you know, what artists to book and what destination we should go to, what cruise line we should use, what time of year.
That's fantastic.
You know, we're very socially engaged with our captains.
Right.
And, you know, they like it. And they're like, hey, I'm the captain. You know,
Well,
it's pretty, you know, it's a pretty cool concept, I think.
Our concept today was growth, and it's not just about personal growth. You actually, with the charity aspect, help other people's lives grow.
Definitely.
Can you tell us a little bit about the charity concept? And I really want to know about the new concept that just came out as well, because I think that's really rewarding.
It is pretty cool. So, Wet Foundation, I started it 2 years ago. We've always had a charitable component to our cruises for the last 11 years, and we've always given money. And we were benefiting a organization in Africa that benefits kids that have lost their parents to AIDS for years and years. And we just kind of got the feeling. My wife and I went there and just kind of got the feeling that the money that we were donating wasn't getting to the actual programs. So came back, and I really wanted to create something where our guests, our captains, could you know, see the effects of their money or their time or their efforts. So we created two programs with Wet Foundation, which is a 501c3. So one is destination donations. So when we have 2,000, 2,500 people that go to Jamaica or Mexico, we'll ask everyone to bring but school supplies or clothing or whatever and then we'll partner with the orphanage like in Mexico, and we'll ask for volunteers, we organize bags, we go to the destination, deliver the stuff, and then normally hang out for a little bit. And we have a unique aspect to that. We finally got, I just got an email this morning, so this isn't official yet, but I don't want to
It's
name
official
it. I
here,
don't wanna-
guys.
I don't want to name it cruise line. It's not like- it's just an email.
We got the scoop.
So, but the premise was now wet means to excite in the dictionary. So the premise is for these kids that are in our programs is to excite their lives and really like give a little spark. So the orphans in Mexico that we're going to be dealing with, I wanted to bring them onto the cruise ship.
It's going to be amazing.
We would never have that
You're going to be able to do that? Is what you're thinking?
We have an email from this morning that says that we're going to be able to go to the orphanage, hang out with kids, deliver the stuff, and then also bring them onto a cruise ship, onto the ship, show them around the ship, get their head dreaming a little bit, and hopefully, you know, they'll...
First and foremost, I want to get on that boat.
Yeah,
I want to get on that cruise because that ship. Secondly, I want to be the captain when you go to Jamaica because I got roots. So I need to be the captain going to my
Fantastic. You got it.
Nice. Oh, that'd be nice. Maybe we could do a little Blueprint Radio on a wet party cruise. Idea, I'm just saying. I want to add one thing. I want to take it a little bit back to the business side of it, which is, again, back to our theme, which is growth. You were recently named by the South Florida Business Journal as the fastest growing travel company in Florida, but also Inc. magazine said that you were the fourth fastest growing travel and hospitality company in the nation. Those are pretty big, things to throw out there. So, question for you: how do you A, prepare for that kind of growth, and B, how do you manage it?
I think that any company that says that they're prepared for growth doesn't know what they're talking about.
Thank you for the honesty.
There's not really a blueprint that says, all right, I'm going to go from 2 million to 10 million, and here's how you do it, or here's how you scale it. You can put together business plans, and they're always going to get messed up. Mm-hmm. So you've always got to be constantly just, planning, but also adjusting and adapting as you go along. So it's been a challenge, there's no question. There's different software that we had to use. Our costs go up here, our costs go up there, and we had to, hire people and let people go. And it's been, it's certainly been a challenge. Financially, it's been a challenge. It's because these ships cost 7 figures to rent for 3 to 4 days. So,
can only imagine.
So but to say that there's a perfect way of how we, have grown.
No.
There's not really a set thing. I know there's not really a big nugget there, I guess. But,
No, it is, because you're speaking some truth to that, which is really telling people there is no easy way, no trick. You just got to get in there and do it and be as prepared as possible.
Everybody thinks that these big companies are so organized and they're so on top of accounting and they're so on top of this. I was just talking with our CFO yesterday, and they're not. Even these multi-billion-dollar public companies, they're not that organized. So as a younger company, it makes me feel, a little more at ease.
Got it.
Not as perfect, I guess, with our finances, with our planning, with our marketing, things like that aren't perfect. But as long as we're moving forward and creating systems and we're adding value and we're getting better.
Great.
We're not going in the other direction. We're going in this direction.
I will say, I've been on your cruises, and I've seen your family on them as well, which is awesome.
Right.
But I will say, you have great food on them, which you don't find on cruises.
Nice.
And healthy, so thank you.
Based on that, we want to thank you.
Changed the food on them a little bit. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jason Buchema. So we're going to say founder and chief excitement officer of Wet Travel. And this section with Jason was brought to you by Work Out Your Wealth, promoting healthier and wealthier living through sound financial and wellness services.
And now this is our takeaway section, and I'll start it off as I do every week with Doctor's Lowdown. So today I'll be talking a little bit about probiotics and your normal gut flora. So the idea that we take probiotics, and we hear this all the time in commercials and you see it in the supermarkets, what you really want to pay attention to is taking care of your own normal gut flora, and that's the good bacteria within your stomach. That helps you reduce a lot of the toxins. It also helps you lose weight because our normal gut flora is actually so involved with breaking down some of our proteins as well as our fats. And I know that in the fitness industry, and you hear a lot about weight loss and I don't see results. That actually is a real big issue for a lot of people. So taking probiotics and protecting the normal gut flora is so important. And it also correlates to mood and some of the disorders that we see. So that's my takeaway today.
Awesome. Now, the Tony's takeaway is all about moving more, right? Getting to that caloric deficit. Here's some ways you can do that. High-intensity interval training allows you to burn more calories in an hour, 500 to 1,000 even, and also burn 24 to 36 hours after. Another thing you can do is a push-pull workout where you're doing a chest press going right into a back press, going into a bicep curl directly into a tricep extension. These push-pull exercises allow you to get more into a workout within a given hour, allowing you to burn more calories. And lastly, active recovery. Active recovery could be anything. As long as you're not resting, you do a workout, and in between that workout, maybe you're knocking out some abs, maybe you're doing some jump rope, you can get into caloric deficit by adding these simple measures. And that's the Tony's takeaway.
Nice. Well, today, Karen's concept is just going to go back to the segment on growth, and I'm just going to pick the one topic of risk tolerance. I urge each and every one of us to go out there and really figure out what our risk tolerance is. You can do this by going online and taking a number of quizzes, or my recommendation is always sit with a financial professional who can really get to the truth. Now, the real takeaway here is if I am, for example, coupled with Dr. Kjelson, let's say, and my risk tolerance is conservative and his happens to be moderate or aggressive, we might have some issues. So it's not just about identifying your own risk tolerance, but if you're in a relationship, a financial relationship, even a business partnership, you want to assess the couple's risk tolerance. So that's why I recommend you sit with a professional and you get to the bottom of that. Well, we want to thank Jason Buchema once again from Wet Travel, Chief Excitement Officer and Founder.
Yes, and our topic today, I loved it, growth. Being 5'4", it's just near and hard. So I want to just remind everybody to follow us at blueprintradioshow.com, where you can find all of our links. You can see our social media. You can also see some of the past pictures and videos. And I want to give a huge shout to our sponsors, Tamarina, Amp Squared, Intuit Media Group, Genovic, Work Out Your Wealth, Matthew Zukowski, attorney at law, and of course, Mass Mutual. And finally, we have a very special and new sponsor this week, David Kurse, real estate broker extraordinaire with Douglas Elliman.
Now, make sure you go to blueprintradioshow.com to check out my fitness tip that I'm about to deliver to you. Yes. Stick around. All right, today's Tony's Tips is all about core and flexibility. Now, improving those two things can improve your quality of life. So the first exercise is going to be a sit-up into a stretch, all right? So to start in your typical hamstring stretch, position, and we're going straight down, engaging our abs, coming up and reaching on each one. When we reach, we improve the ballistic stretching in our hamstrings, and at the same time, we're getting postural control. Wanting our chest nice and tall, abs contracted, back nice and flat. It can definitely improve your quality of life. Second exercise, we're gonna get into a plank position, and we're gonna do a hip flexor stretch along with a plank. So we're gonna be here in plank position, keeping the abs tight, and then all we're doing, we're driving that right leg up, and we're stretching our hip flexor, bringing it back. Up, stretching that hip flexor, bringing it back, and up, stretching that hip flexor. Stretching your hip flexors are very important in the role of posture, keeping that back in line, longevity, and more. Lastly, we're gonna do hamstring stretches while touching our toes. And all you're gonna do is a ballistic stretch, reaching for those toes, getting those hamstrings up, stretching on each one. We're working our obliques, we're working our abs, and we're also stretching our hamstrings on each of these movements. So we're gonna work on our core, we're gonna work on our flexibility. Combining the two of those will improve your quality of life. That's Tony's tips for the day.